Hello, welcome to Business Reporter's The Best of British Business campaign. I'm Ashley Blake. With a combined annual revenue of over £10 billion, the creative and entertainment industry remains a powerful engine of the UK economy. Digitisation is high on everyone's agenda in the sector, as online streaming, virtual reality and the metaverse are all creating unprecedented opportunities for innovation and growth. Today, we'll be discussing those opportunities with 77 Ventures, a British business that specialises in accelerating digitisation in the creative industries. Ketan, maybe we can start by getting a bit of background on yourself and why you decided to found 77 Ventures.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I have a background in innovation, business innovation, talent management. I think it was very widely publicised that the pandemic had an impact on things like hospitality, travel and leisure in this respect. An idea spawned and I got in touch with a long friend and esteemed entrepreneur, Michael Jacobson, who has a background in arts, entertainment, with work like producing Dirty Dancing as a theatre production, etc. Our next step was to commission a white paper to really understand what the insights look like. So 2030 CI was commissioned, and it gave us an insight on what the UK creative industries could look like by the end of the decade, or by the start of 2030. And that became the blueprint for us to start the business. So ultimately, our mission is to accelerate the digitisation of the creative industries and to be able to do this through various service offerings that we could put into the market.
I see. Now, when we talk about the creative industries and digitisation, they don't necessarily sit well in the same sentence, but they do work. What are the most exciting opportunities for digitisation within the creative industry?
Well, as we said earlier, we spotted gaps in digitisation.
Yeah.
It's not just about resources and skill, but it's also about the capacity and capability of digitisation within industries. So you'll hear a lot of these kind of buzzwords in the industry right now, things like the metaverse and Web3, and you'll hear about virtual reality and augmented reality and things like this. But the truth being known to this is traditional creative businesses in fashion, arts, even the theatre are very, very analogue. So there's a behavioural shift within the sort of leaders of these businesses. And then there's a transformational shift within how theatre can become more immersive. And that's the key words here. Two words: immersive experience. The problem you have is you've got a lot of players that are still in an analog position, and you need to create that level of transformation, but also a bridge into that digital world. You can't just push this whole thing into a digital world. We are, once things like augmented reality and virtual reality headsets become a commodity product, they will be in your house, which will mean that you can engage in music concerts from your home. You could be at a festival in your back garden. These are things that potentially are going to happen, but to get the consumer to really understand and appreciate those things, we need a process and a period of time. The next 5 to 10 years, in my opinion, the word phygital is going to be coming into place. Now, for anyone that doesn't really understand what phygital means, it's a cross between physical and digital. Phygital.
I see. So let's take a look at 77 Ventures' core proposition. What's the core offering of your company, and how do you help creative companies accelerate their digitisation?
77 itself has kind of three core offerings into the market space: strategic consulting, investment advisory, capital raising, and venture partnering. We work at a strategic consulting level. And what that means is we're here to help produce digital roadmaps, blueprints, that whole transformation of change management and leadership. The other side of the business is more familiar with capital raising, investment advisory. So we've now got a populated fund of, or access to a populated fund of about £1.5 billion across family offices and stuff like this, which what we do is we work with our businesses to produce the right investment strategies, the right kind of ask. And what I mean by that is, how much do you need? What do you need it for? And how should you structure your finance in? Is it equity? Is it debt? Is it convertible note? So what venture partnering really allows us to do is take a slice of the action and actually build something together for us to then eventually sort of move ourselves away, leaving the business owner to completely own the business.
So those are your three core offerings and propositions. Perhaps you could share some success stories with us, some case studies.
An app called Ellie. Ellie is an acronym for Eliminate Your Limits Independently. It was set up by two US-based entrepreneurs. Their focus and their mission is primarily to look at teenage suicide and look at drug dependency in young people. They're an analog business. The way they work is keynotes, workshops, doing that whole farming out and getting out into the community. When they approached us, we looked at this opportunity of saying the millennials or the Gen Zs that you're looking to approach, they're not going to sit in a room and be dictated to in any way, shape, or form. They're very independent. And one of the biggest areas that attracts this age group or demographic is gamification. So what we've been doing with Ellie is we've working with them in three ways. We've helped them build a digital roadmap, and as a result of that, we've determined that we want to bring in augmented reality coaching, and we also want to bring in full gamification. So this is learning by doing. So learn through play. The next thing we had to do is start to work with the leadership structure of the organization. There's still very analog play. So there is a change management process that needs to come in. So this isn't about digital. This is about the simplicity of how do you change the culture of what you're doing to get to where you're going to go. We also use things like organometrics to understand the proclivities of each of the team members to then help the leadership team assign and assemble different teams to create different outputs. And finally, throughout the process, we're helping them capital raise. Right now, we're going through a round of $500,000, and we're then going for another raise of 1.5 million.
Ketan Makwana, 77 Ventures.